From a mage's rebellion to battles of demigods to a girl who becomes a respected captain. It might be surprising for a lot of people, but League of Legends have actually a bunch of very interesting stories. And since Arcane is over, the doubt of what's next come to the mind of a lot of us. Well, we don't exactly have a confirmation, but thanks to Necrit's interview with Christian Link, he gave us a little something about what we can expect. He said that they are exploring different regions, and he specifically mentions Noxus, Ionia, and Demacia. When he said this, he was talking about a possible new show, but also new games. And with that clarification out of the way, and because I want another show, let's start from the beginning. And let me say something that I think is pretty obvious. There's a high chance that the next show will be in Noxus. This empire was brought a lot in Arcane, not only with characters like Ambessa, Mel, Rictus, and Maddie, and how tough and strong Noxians can be, but also part of their culture has been already established. Ambessa teaches not only Kaylin but us about the principles every Noxian should follow: vision, might, and guile. And thanks to that, we talked about the Tripharics on the Act 2 video of Arcane. We also learned about the Black Rose, and thanks to that, we talked about the Hemomancing Noxus on the Act 3 video of Arcane. And even at the end of the show, we got a little teaser about Swain, who we talked about in both Act 2 and Act 3 videos of Arcane. But what exactly is Noxus? Well, the easiest way to describe Noxus is an expansionist empire. This place has a long list of wars and war achievements. Its very founding was made on a place that terrorized Runeterra for years because of its warlord. This place is called the Immortal Bastion. Thousands of years ago, the Black Rose, yes, the same organization that stops Ambessa with the help of Mel and Arcane, was the one who stopped this warlord with the help of Noxide tribes. This eventually would make this place become what we now know as Noxus. To others outside of this nation, Noxus sounds brutal, threatening, and well, evil. But to those who look a little deeper in it, see that it actually is a very inclusive society, where not only the strength of the people are cultivated and respected, but also many other talents. Since Noxians value strength above all, and strength can be manifested in different ways, anyone who is capable enough can rise to a position of power and respect regardless of their social standing, background, homeland, or wealth. Besides Ambessa and Mel, there are a lot of characters from this place. In my personal opinion, the characters that have more chance to be the main characters besides Mel and LeBlanc, since those are practically a given, are Katarina, who was born in one of the most respected families in Noxus. She took after her father in the way of the blade. She trained under his harsh tutelage, but one day her father disappeared. When everyone made him for dead, he revealed himself to Katarina, telling her that he did this because of Swain's orders, that he can't be trusted, and that his mission is now hers. Nothing big, just the simple mission of killing the king of Demacia, Jarvan III, and Luxana Crownguard, using a mage rebellion as a distraction. Well, she manages to assassin Jarvan, but spares Lux's life since they can relate to each other because both were rejected by their families. But then escaping, she crosses paths with the leader of the Dauntless Vanguard, the most elite order of warriors in Demacia, Garen Crownguard. Yes, Lux's brother. Here they fight, but they realize that they don't have time for this and decide they should just take different paths. However, before leaving, they shared a small moment where they bond. Returning to Noxus, we get to know that it was her father who wanted to kill Swain, and after she fought with him and was having the advantage, he pulled out a bomb that was going to blow the entire building with everyone in it. She's ready to make the sacrifice and save everyone, but Swain saves her and solidifies the trust both have for each other. After this, Swain chooses her as his failsafe. He ordered her that if he loses control of his demon, she has to kill him. And like so, she becomes Swain's most trusted assassin. As a little extra, when Katarina was bonding with her daggers, Tran told her to think about a moment where she felt something and connected. The moment she chose was the moment she met Garen. And it is very implied that they are kinda in some sort of relationship.
I will slay you where you stand. Dinner tonight?
You shall fall on your folly. Meet me at the South Docks after dark.
You must be Garen.
And I have never seen you before. Well, this is a surprise.
Not now.
Next would be Draven. Born in Basilic with his brother Darius, he became a Noxian soldier when a Noxian captain invaded his hometown and both brothers tried to kill him. But while Darius got higher and higher ranks in the army, he wanted something else. He left the army and became something seeking recognition and glory. He became a reckoner, a gladiator. He became the most acclaimed warrior. But after some time in war, the people from Noxus lost interest in this form of entertainment. Drunk and made a gambler, it was Swain who asked him for aid to dethrone Boram Darkwill. Then he became a crucial part of Swain's plan since he was the one who struck Darkwill down, becoming Swain's friend and close ally. Vladimir, who was once a prince from a far nation, he was giving as a deal to the Dark King to keep this kingdom safe. If the deal was broken, the Dark King would kill Vladimir. His father, having multiple heirs, broke the deal very quick. But instead of killing him, the Dark King gave him the option to march with their troops on the kingdom. Vladimir, learning about his father's betrayal, decides to do so. He comes back with his father's head as proof of his loyalty. He quickly earned his patron's warhost's favor, and he was awarded with the power of hemomancy. A Dark King teaching their secrets to mortals was extremely forbidden. But then, at the end of the Great Darking War, secret to everyone besides himself, Vladimir found a way to kill one of these god warriors. Killing his master, he then absorbed the power of this being, driving him mad and scarring him forever. But he absorbed enough power to grant him abilities that would categorize him as immortal. Much later on in history, it would be him and the Black Rose, the ones who defeated the Iron Revenant to then found Noxus. Right now, he's hiding his true nature from everyone else, acting like just a normal high class in Noxus and teaching hemomancy, which has driven people to follow him and form a cult, but he has bigger plans. He is ready to claim what has been denied to him for so long: a kingdom. And last but not least, Jericho Swain, a member of the Swain family, a family who had influence into putting the then Emperor Boram Darkwill in the throne. He found out that they were part of the Black Rose and that they were trying to find a dark power. So he exposed the entire organization and executed its most prominent members, including his own parents and the Blank. He then was part of the Noxian army as a captain when Darkwill was going mad and was trying to conquer Ionia. Here, a young rebellious lady with the name of Irelia took his arm off. The image of this girl hefting his arm became a symbol, and it would be the turning point of the war. On the verge of death, a raven got closer to him, and after staring at the bird's eyes, he saw a vision. Here he saw that it was LeBlanc who made Darkwill go crazy and wanted Swain to die. This raven was something more. It was a demon. And then he realized that this was the power his parents were searching. When he returned to Noxus, he was considered a disgraced figure, and people usually called him a crippled.
And to think, they called me a cripple.
But he found this entity and did something that amazed even the demon. He was able to control its power. After this, in only one night, he stroked down Boram Darkwill and became the new Emperor of Noxus. But he had a different plan. Instead of getting all the power for himself, he created the current governing system of Noxus, the Tripharics, in which he appointed 3 people, each one representing one Noxian principle of strength: him as Vision and the main face of the government, Darius as Might, and the Faceless, whose identity is a secret, as Guile. I also would love to see Samira. She's a Shuriman who had to seek refuge in Noxus and formed part of Captain Indari's battalion, where she saved Indari herself from death, but since she lost functionality of her legs, she had to disband the battalion, and after some time chilling, Samira realized that she couldn't live without the adrenaline, and now she takes every crazy job possible, but I don't think she's gonna be selected to be a main character. The next location mentioned was Demacia. This place can be described as a monarchy, a strong lawful kingdom. The people from Demacia have always valued the ideas of justice, honor, and duty most highly. The capital, the great city of Demacia, was founded as a refuge from sorcery after the nightmare of the Rune Wars. It was built with petricite, a special material that absorbs magic. However, this nation has developed a dark sentiment towards mages to the point of being hunted imprisoned, and even experimented on by a special order known as the Mage Seekers. Here we can follow the stories of Garen and Luxana Crownguard. Garen joined the military since he was a kid. At the age of 18, he had accomplished multiple exploits, and at the age of 21, he joined the ranks of the Dauntless Vanguard, eventually becoming its leader. He lives, eats, and breathes because and for Demacia. Luxana, or Lux, how we know her, was thought to be an obedient and helpful person to her family, one of the richest families in Demacia, but she's quite rebellious, and one night, riding back home from exploration, she was ambushed by wolves. Here, full of fear, she shoots a powerful blast of light from her hand. That night, Lux realized she was a mage in a city that hunts them down. As a little extra, there's only 2 times where Garen has chosen over Demacia: his relationship with Katarina, and taking Lux's side when in the Mage's Rebellion it was finally revealed she's a mage. Qiyana and Jarvan IV. Jarvan is the prince, now supposed to be king after the death of his father cause of the Mage's Rebellion, thank you Katarina. He was raised to be the perfect example for everyone in Demacia, the paragon of this station's greatest virtues. Qiyana was raised by a mage. The twist is, she was born from Eva, a powerful fire dragon. That mage stole an egg, and from this egg Qiyana hatched. By her adolescence, she was able to change forms from more human-like to dragon. She earned a place in the Royal Guard after saving Jarvan IV's life. With the Mage's Rebellion, she had to leave the city because of the multiple rules against magic and magical beings, but after Jarvan IV dissolved the Mage Seekers, she was able to return. All these formed a bonding between the two of them, a very close bonding. A bonding that can be interpreted as very friendly. They want to eat each other's face. And the last one being Silas. He is the mage responsible for the Mage's Rebellion in Demacia. He was used by the Mage Seekers since he was able to sense magic in others. Once, he tried to help a young mage, but when he accidentally touched her skin, he blasted a lightning uncontrollably, taking the lives of her and 2 Mage Seekers. He was labeled as the most dangerous mage alive and was imprisoned by the Mage Seekers. After 15 years, with some sweet words and convincing the naive Lux, he formed a bond with her. When people learned about Lux visiting Silas, he was sentenced to public execution. But when she tried to advocate for him, he touched Lux and shot a beam of her magic, calcinating everyone unseen except her. He managed to escape and then led the rebellion against Demacia. As a side note, to me, visually, Demacia is one of the prettiest places in Runeterra. I love the fully white buildings, it just makes it look like super clean, and I don't know, I just really enjoy the aesthetics. And it would be very interesting to see how everything follows after the Mage's Rebellion. The last nation that was mentioned was Ionia. This is a conglomeration of allied provinces scattered across an archipelago. Ionia is a very interesting place since everything here is alive, even the houses. Its people are very spiritual and they seek to live in harmony and balance with the world. So they don't chop down trees to make a house, they get help from the tree to do it. For example, Ionia is a little complicated since the people we can follow here are a lot, and practically everyone is connected to each other. But, and I don't know how many people are gonna hate me for this, I am sick and tired of Yasuo. I don't want Yasuo, I don't want Yone, and for people who don't know who they are, their very summarized story is Yasuo had to kill his brother Yone because of a misunderstanding where people thought Yasuo killed their master. This haunted him for years, but then Yone resurrects. Yasuo wants to give him his revenge, but Yone's like, nah, I'm good, and they both part ways. To me, a much more interesting character, and I know a lot of people would agree with me, would be Jhin. Easy description, Jhin is a mysterious, meticulous criminal psychopath who believes murder is an art. He was sentenced to life prison after he was captured by Master Kusho, Shen, and Usan for massively sending people to see their ancestors. He was only released thanks to Ionia's instability because of the Noxian invasion. He now roams free doing performances for his patrons and even Zon recently. In his time in prison, he revealed very little about him. We don't even know his real name. No, Jhin is not his actual name. But What the guards could learn is that he's a bright student. He's a virtuoso, an artist, a calligrapher, a painter, a poet, a puppeteer, and even a smith. But he also is an assassin and a serial killer. He prepares all of his performances with care and meticulosity. He plans things to make them as beautiful as possible in his own sick way. Another character that I think is a no-brainer would be Ari, a Vastaya whose tribe, the Besani, completely disappeared. Being her the only one left, she now roams around Runeterra trying to find what happened to her tribe. But that's exactly the problem. Last time we saw her, it was on Ruined King, the video game, and she says she was going back to the Shadow Isles to learn more about the Vasani, so it wouldn't be in Ionia. I mean, I guess they could just make her go back, but I don't know. Akali, though, can be another champion that would be nice to follow, and is also the character with more lore on this list. Summarizing a lot, her parents were both part of the Kinko Order, which is an ancient organization that maintains the balance between the physical world and the spirit realm. She trained with Master Kusho, the leader of the organization, Kennen, an ancient Yordle master, and Shen, Kusho's son and appointed successor. Usan/Zed, who is the next character I will talk about, attacked the Order with his followers, killing Master Kusho and everyone they could find. Akali, her mother, Kennen, and the new Eye of Twilight, Shen, escaped. Shen then started to rebuild the Order and getting new apprentices. Here Akali made a new friend called Faye. She was the possible successor to Akali's mother's title. But one day they awoke a corrupted spirit, resulting in Faye losing a leg. Akali, seeing how Faye blamed her since she told her not to help, and seeing her mother go to Faye's side, made her feel hurt. She then promised to become the next Fist of Shadow, which she did. But then, later on, she left the Order since she felt Shen was holding her back since he was basically doing nothing when the Noxians invaded. So she grew sick and left. Now she's an independent assassin. She lives as a vigilante, traversing the urban underground of Ionia and eliminating those that cause her people harm. There's a lot more of lore, like reuniting with Shen, searching for Zed, capturing Jin, and like I said, she has a lot of history, but I think you guys get the idea. The next one, like I said, is Zed, which is a former student of the Kinku Order who became ruthless and merciless. He created the Order of Shadow, an organization that intends to militarize Ionia's magical and martial traditions. He joined the Kinku Order when Master Kusho and Shen met him, and after he showed determination and managed to punch Shen while sparring. He gained his name Usan after a traumatic experience of letting someone die to save others while he was healing people on a carnage they encountered. This name is one of his status, and it means the strength of compassion. He was a key point on very important missions. Years passed, and he found something called the Tears of Shadow in some catacombs. This gives you the ability to control shadow magic at the expense of tainting your mind with darkness. When Noxus attacked, he told the Kinko Order to attack back with everything they had, but they refused. So he left the Order, took the name of Zed, formed the Shadow Order with disciples of the Kinko Order that agreed with him, and then he realized that the magic he found was necessary to protect Ionia, so he went back to take it. Here is when the attack to the Kinko Order happens, and after defeating everyone, they took the temple as their own. Something to add is that once the Shadow Order arrived in a battlefield after the battle was done, and a young Noxian warrior with the name of Arcane confronted all of them on his own. Zed ended up recruiting him into the Shadow Order, and he quickly became a master on every single weapon the Order possesses, with affinity in stealth and assassination. The twist is that at some point of his life, he found a special scythe, a scythe with the name of Rast, a Darking. Earlier, we talked about them and we know that they are god warriors, but something important to mention is that their minds have been scarred by countless wars and the horrors witnessed in the Void War. All of them were imprisoned in weapons. So right now, he's fighting for the control of his own body with this new pole he made. Now, I feel like Ionia needs a Vastaya. Zed's story is just him getting control over the fighting pits he once fought. Wukong is just kinda being a superhero fighting injustice, so We only got Shaya and Rakan left. Shaya is a deadly and precise Vastaya who won the nickname of the Violent Raven for the ways she handles things. And Rakan is a charming and flamboyant Vastaya from the same kind, a Lotlan. When they met, Shaya classified Rakan as a buffoon, but then she got surprised by how good he was in battle. After all, Rakan is the best battle dancer in Lotan tribal history. He caused chaos and destruction while Shaya finished their enemies with her sharp feather blades. You know that me and the bad bee I pulled by being silly meme? Well, that's Shaya and Rakan, cause his attitude ended up winning her affection. Rakan left his life of parties and festivals to help Shaya with her cause of returning the power to Vastaya, which has been decreasing with the pass of time. They now lead a movement with this specific goal, and which many other Vastaya have joined. Now, there are other very interesting characters like Irelia, who's the girl, now woman, who severed Swain's arm, or Karma, which is a religious leader in Ionia, but she's like an embodiment of an ancient soul reincarnated over and over again, and she carries the accumulated memories into each new life, and she's here to protect her people. But I think she fits better in a role like Heimerdinger had in Arcane. Like Christian himself said, there are a lot more stories to tell from this world, and I don't know when or how are we gonna get the continuation or the expansion of them, but after watching Arcane, I hope we get more shows. Get Fortiche again, get the crew back in town, and just put another masterpiece out there. I really wish we could have at least one show for each region, just to be able to experience those regions this way. And I know it sounds kinda crazy, but man, Arcane is one of my favorite shows ever, and at least for me, rekindled that love I have for this world, but we'll see how it goes in the future. Guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you think it was earned, and I hope I will see you in the next one.